ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनिति नामिनी नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिनी नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रहम् अनादिरादिर् गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम्। हरे कृष्ण। By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we successfully started 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita yesterday. And those who are joining for the first time, no need to think that we are in the 8th chapter, because we have 2 cycles going on. On Saturday, we are in the 2nd chapter. And also, you will notice that in our Bhagavad Gita class every day, when I teach, I'm going to refer to all these slokas from different chapters. Because that way only this Bhagavad Gita itself is taught actually. Because Arjuna is asking so many questions based on what Krishna is answering. So that way there is continuous flow in it. And each and every sloka is connected to every other sloka in the Bhagavad Gita. So that way we need to understand this Bhagavad Gita as the entire book. Entire all the slokas together we need to understand. So in order to very simply say in very simple terms, just to understand what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, in very simple terms, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is that we are not the body, we are the soul. But even though we are not the body, we are the soul, but we are inside this body. That is the problem. That's what we need to recognize. We need to understand that problem, that even though we are the soul, we are not the body, but the problem is that we are stuck inside this material body. Now, how to solve this problem? So that's what Bhagavad Gita teaches. Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to get rid of this material body. It is not possible by committing suicide. If we commit suicide, we will be forced into another body. So we should be breaking all the bondage within this body. So the soul is glued to this body. So we need to break, we need to free, we need to release our soul from this body. So there is a special technique, there is a special process which is very clearly explained in Bhagavad Gita. If we study and understand all these processes and follow in our life, then we will be able to separate ourselves from this material body so that we will not be forced again into this material body. So that is what is known as mukti. Mukti means it's liberation. So the way of attaining that mukti, the way of attaining that liberation is only through bhakti. That's what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. So if there is bhakti towards Krishna, then mukti will automatically come to us. Then we will be eligible for liberation. Because Krishna is saying that, in the second chapter we studied on Shloka, Krishna is saying that, Yamhi na vyadayanti ete purusham purusharsava sama dukkha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. So amritatvaya kalpate means he is eligible for liberation. So for whom who is not disturbed. Yamhi na vyadayanti ete. Na vyadayanti means who is not disturbed. So that's what Yamhi na vyadayanti ete purusham purusharsava sama dukkha sukham dhiram. So one who is sober and one who is equal, sama, in both sukham and dukkham, happiness and distress, so then he is eligible for liberation. So that means we will get mukti. We'll get liberation from this material world. But in order to get such liberation, mukti from this material world, so Krishna is saying that one should listen to me. That's what Krishna is saying there. If you just listen to me, then you will be liberated. You will be freed from this material bondage. Teme matam nidam nityam anutistanti manavaga saddhavanto anasuyanto muchyante tepi karma bigi. Muchyante. Muchyante means liberation. So if anyone just understands what I say, anyone just very faithfully follows what I say, so that's what teme matam idam nityam anutistanti manavaga Shraddhavanto anasuyanto. So with Shraddha, with faith, and without envy, without enviousness. So then, muchyante tepi karma bhi. You will be freed from this material world. So that's what we need, that mukti. So what Krishna is asking us to do in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching us very, very clearly that you are not this body, you are the soul, and I am the super soul. So I love you so much. You are the soul, I am the super soul, and I love you so much. You please love me. That's what Krishna is asking us. So that's what bhakti. So as I just said that if we have bhakti, then we are going to get mukti. So bhakti means loving Krishna. That's what is bhakti. If we love Krishna out of bhakti, we will get mukti. But how that love can come? That love can come only when we get the jnana. That is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Only Bhagavad Gita knowledge gives us the devotion unto Krishna. So that's why we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. So in this Bhagavad Gita, now Arjuna asked a very important question actually. When we finish the 7th chapter, Krishna mentioned about so many technical words which Arjuna didn't know about it. And it's so nice that Arjuna is asking Krishna, what are all those words? What are all the answers for those questions? It's very important because Arjuna is asking, Krishna is answering now. Arjuna asked Krishna that what we studied yesterday. In fact, we studied 2 slokas together. Normally, every day we study only 1 sloka, but we studied 2 slokas yesterday. That is sloka number 1 and 2 in the 8th chapter. So here Arjuna asked Krishna that Arjuna uvacha kim tat brahma kim adhyatma kim karma purushottama adibhutam cha kim proktam adidevam kimuchyate atiyajnaha katam kotra deheshmin purushottama prayana kale cha katam nyeyoshi niyatatma bihi. So Arjuna is asking that adiyajnyoham katam kotra deheshmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katam nyeyoshi niyatatma. So what is Brahma? Kim tat Brahma? What is Adhyatma? Kim tat Brahma? Kim Adhyatma? What is Karma? Kim Karma? Kim tat Brahma? Kim Adhyatma? Kim Karma? Purushottam. Adibhutam cha kim proktam adidevam kim uchyate. What is Adibhutam? What is Adidevam? Adiyajnyoham. Adiyajno. What is Adiyajno? So these are all very important technical words we need to understand, because in the previous chapter, in the 7th chapter towards the end, Krishna has said very clearly that by knowing all these things, they come to me. My devotees, by knowing all these things, te viduhu. Te viduhu means they know. They know about it. Jara marana mokshaya mamashitya yatantiye te brahma tadviduhu kritsnam. Te Brahma Tadviduhu Kritsnam means te viduhu means they know what is Brahma. That's what. This Brahma is not the Lord Brahma. It is Brahman. It is Brahman. We need to understand. So Krishna is saying that te viduhu, te Brahma Tadviduhu, Adhyatma Karma Cha Akilam. They also know what is Adhyatma. They also understand what is Karma. So by knowing Karma, Adhyatma, Brahma, then and the last sloka in the 7th chapter, sloka number 30 we studied, Krishna said that Sadi bhutadi devam mam sadi yajnam chaye viduhu prayana kale pichamam te viduhu yukta chetasaham. So adibhutam, sa adibhutam, adidevam, adiyajnam. So by knowing all these things, they will know me at the time of death. Prayana Kale. Prayana Kale means at the time of death, they will know me. Prayana Kale picha mam te vidugu. Mam vidugu. Mam vidugu means they know about me. So then they will come to me. That's a very important thing. So that means this life is a preparation period for a very important exam which we are going to write. Like we know, when we go to college and schools, we know that there are very lot of exams they conduct, and especially annual exams comes. We know our very entrance exams comes. We know, and we study very hard for it. We know the date is set, and we prepare for it. So because when we are very well prepared, we can do very well in the exam. So similarly, this death is an exam for every one of us. Every one of us have to write that exam. That is death. And we don't know. It's like surprise quiz, surprise exams. So we don't know. It's going to come at any time. We don't know. So what does that mean? That means we should be prepared all the time. So whenever that exam comes, we should pass. And that's what we are going to study in this 8th chapter at length. What we should do at the time of death. In fact, in this sloka, what we are going to study tomorrow, that's what we are going to study. What we should do at the time of death to pass this exam. If we fail this exam, what's going to happen? If we fail this exam, then we need to rewrite. We need to write this exam again. Like when we go to college, when we fail an exam, then they won't graduate us. Then we need to rewrite that exam. So like that, this death is an exam. If we fail in this exam, then we have to die again. That is the problem. We have to die again. Then again, if we fail, we need to die again. So that way, we'll keep on dying, failing, dying. And that's what is happening for us for innumerable number of times, for unlimited number of times. We have taken countless number of births. We are suffering, struggling. So, but if we pass in that exam, then we are going to go to Krishna's way. So that means we don't have to write that exam anymore. That means we don't have to die anymore. So let us die only once. So that is the main thing. But of course, it's so hard. It's very difficult to control the mind. So that way, at least we should minimize, if not one death, even if there are some deaths, but we should minimize the number of deaths, because it all depends upon how effectively we are using this time, this human life. This human life is very precious. Each and every moment, each and every second is very important for us. So we need this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching us how to control our senses, how to control our mind, how to regulate all our activities, eating, sleeping, recreational activities, all such things. Yukta, yuktahara, viharasya, yukta chestasya, karmasu, yukta swapnababodasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. So all such things Krishna is teaching us very, very clearly in Bhagavad Gita. So if we get this knowledge fully, then we will be able to pass in that exam. So that's why this is very important. Arjuna is asking all these questions, and Krishna is saying that prayana kale picha mam te vidugu. Prayana kale picha mam vidugu. Yukta chetasaka mam te vidugu. So they know me. So that's very important. So now here, let's go to the answers for questions asked by Arjuna. What was the first answer question? Kim tat brahma. Then kim adhyatma. Then kim tat brahma, kim adhyatma, kim karma. Then kim karma purushotama, adibhutam, adiyajnam, adidevam, adiyajnam, all such things. So let's go one by one. So now today also we are going to study 2 slokas. Because these slokas coming together, these questions are coming together. It's very hard to split that. One day study half of the questions and next day study the remaining half of the questions. And then the 3rd day study half of the answers and the 4th day study the remaining half. That doesn't make sense. So that's why yesterday, even though we study only 1 sloka every day, but yesterday we studied 2 slokas, in the sloka number 1st and 2 in the 8th chapter. So now Krishna is saying that, giving the answer that in the sloka number starting from the sloka number 3 in the 8th chapter, Krishna is saying that, Si Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmam Uchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visargaha Karma Samnitaga. Adibhutam ksharo bhavaga purusaschadi devatam atiyajnokam evatra dehe dega vritam viram. So Krishna is saying that Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So that Brahma is Aksharam. We need to understand. We understand very clearly in Bhagavad Gita that we should elevate ourselves to the Brahman level. So there is Brahman platform. We are now in the Jiva level. So this is known as Jiva Bhuta. So as long as we are Jiva Bhuta, we are going to struggle hard in this material world. That's why Krishna said that Mamaivamse, Mamaivamso, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So Jiva Bhuta. Jiva Bhuta, Manasastani Indriyani, Prakriti-stani Karshati. So as long as we are the Jiva Bhuta, we are going to struggle hard. But Krishna is saying that na pragrishet priyam prapya no dvijet prapya cha priyam sira buddhigi asammudo brahmaved brahmani stitaha. So brahmavid brahmani stitaha. So we should know about Brahma. Brahmavid means the knower of Brahma. That's what the question here Arjuna is asking, what is Brahma? Kim tat Brahma? So Brahmavid means one who knows about the Brahma. Brahmavid, Brahmani Sitaha. That means one who is elevating oneself to the Brahma Bhuta platform. So that's what is very important. When we elevate ourselves, then Krishna is saying that Bhagyasparsesu asaktatma vindati atmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam asnute. When we are not attached to the external material sense enjoyment, Bhagyasparsesu asaktatma. When is that going to be possible? Only when we are able to enjoy within ourselves. That's why Bhagyasparsesu asaktatma vindati atmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma. So at that time, he is in the brahma yoga yuktatma. He will be able to enjoy unlimited happiness within the self. Sukham akshayam asnude. So that's what is the Brahman level. So even in the second chapter, last sloka, Krishna said that when we elevate ourselves to that level, so that position is called Brahmi. So yesa Brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimukhyati sitvasyam antakalepi brahma nirvanam richati. Yesa Brahmi sthiti partha. So when we elevate ourselves to that Brahman platform, Yesa Brahmi sthiti partha, Nainam prapya vimukhyati means Enam prapya na vimukhyati. That's what Nainam prapya vimukhyati means. Enam prapya na vimukhyati means after achieving that Brahman platform, Brahman level, one should not be bewildered until the time of death. Sitvasham antakalepi. Until the time of death, if we are able to keep ourselves in that elevated Brahman platform, so then Brahma Nirvanam Richati, then we will go to Brahman. So that is Krishna's abode, Krishna's world. That's also Brahman. So that's why Krishna is saying that Brahmanogi pradishtakam amritasya avyayasya cha sasvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya ikanti tasya cha. So there is Krishna is saying that I have established that Brahman. So Brahmanogi pradishtakam. So that is eternal, that is happiest place. So that is sukasya ikanti, amritasya, avyasya, sasvatasya, dharmasya. So if we go to that place, then we are never going to come back to this material world. So that is the param gatim. That's why Krishna is saying that also in the 8th chapter. Omite kaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanusmaran yaprayati tajandegam sayati paramam gatim. Paramam gatim. So if you go to that Brahman level, Brahman platform. So that's why in the 4th chapter when Krishna is teaching us about the yajnas, Krishna is saying that everything, Brahmagnav, Brahmano Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina, Brahmarpanam, Brahmagavihi, Brahmagnav, Brahmano Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So how many times Krishna is using that word Brahma in the 4th chapter itself? At that time, Arjuna didn't ask the question, what is Brahma? But now Arjuna is asking at the end of the 7th chapter, when Krishna said that they know what is Brahma, they will come to me. So Brahma is Aksharam, it's infallible. So we can understand that we are also Brahman, this soul. So when we elevate ourselves, that's why they say that Aham Brahmasmi. But sometimes people say that, oh, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm also God. So there is no God. Krishna and me are same. That is so stupid. If anyone says, I'm also God, Aham Brahmasmi. So Krishna can say that, Mamaivam se Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Krishna is saying that this Jiva Bhuta is of my nature, Mamaivamsa. But we cannot say that I am Krishna just because of that. We have Krishna's Amsa. We have Krishna's nature. But we are not the super soul. We cannot expand ourselves and go and live in everyone's body. That only Krishna can do. So we are never, even after we realize, we can never become ourselves the super soul. So that way, we should not equate like that. I and Krishna are one and the same. That is not true. But we are part and parcel of Krishna. So that's what we should know very well. So from Bhagavad Gita, we understand that very, very well. So that way, Krishna is saying here that Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So here Krishna is meaning that Brahma is Akshara, means infallible. That is the soul. So the soul it is Brahman. So soul also we can call it as Brahman, and Krishna's abode is also known as Brahman. So anything related to spiritual is known as Brahman, actually. Nothing matter. So there is nothing matter. Everything spirit. So that's what is Brahman. Even Krishna we will study in the 14th chapter, Krishna is saying that Mama Yonigi Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyagam Sambhavaga Sarvabhutani Tatho Bhavati Bharatha. So that Mahat Brahman, so there is I am the source of, but I impregnate that Brahman from which all the living entities, everything is created. That's what Krishna is saying there. So there is our source of birth. Brahman, we can call it as our mother. So Krishna is our father. That's why Krishna is saying that Sarvayonisi Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadyonigi Aham Bija Prataka Pita. So for that, Brahman is the Mahadyonigi. So that is the great source of birth for everything. Whereas I am the seed-giving father. I am the Aham Bija Prataka Pita. That's what Krishna is saying there. So that way, we need to go back. That is our native place. That is our place where we belong to. We belong to Krishna's abode as his soul. So this is a very temporary existence, temporary life in this material world. So that's why Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate. Now, what is Adhyatma? Adhyatma is the Swabhava. We need to understand each and every living entity has got his or her own Swabhava. When we go into the living entities level, there is no point in even in saying his or her. This is the soul. The soul is not his or her. The soul is soul. That's it. The soul is everywhere the same soul. Same is, when you get into the soul level, so then animals, human beings, all species, everything has got the soul only. Everything is soul. So Krishna is saying that the soul has got Swabhava. So in fact, in reality, in this material world, no one is doing anything. We are not doing anything. Krishna is saying that na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srajati prabhu na karma palasamyogam swabhavastu pravartate. So we are not creating any duties. We are not creating any activities. We are not performing any activities. Na kartrutvam na karmani srajati. Na karmani srajati prabhu. Prabhu means the soul. The soul is not creating any activities. Srajati means creating. So na karmani srajati. So we are not doing anything. We are not creating any activity. And we are not causing anyone to do any activity. And even we are not the cause for the results of activities. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srajati prabhu na karma pala samyogam swabhavastu pravartate. So everything is carried out by this swabhava. So there is the nature. There is the modes of nature. The 3 modes of material nature. So that's what is Maya, Swabhava. Everyone has got our Swabhava. Swabhavajena Kaunteya, like that we'll study in the 18th chapter also. So based upon our Swabhava, we are, the 4 types of works are there. So that's why Chadurvanya Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasagam. So these are all based on the Swabhava. So that's why here Krishna is answering that there is known as Adhyatma, the eternal nature, the nature of the living entity is Adhyatma. So there is this Swabhava. So we need to Swadharma. Based on Swabhava, everyone has got Swadharma. So we need to do our Swadharma. That's why Arjuna, when he didn't want to fight, Krishna told that you are a Kshatriya and your Swadharma is to fight for protecting the righteousness. So Kshatriyasya na vidyade. So Swadharmam api chaveksha navikkampitum argasi dharmyadi yuddha chreyo Kshatriyasya na vidyade. So as your Swabhava is based upon your Swabhava, your Swadharma is to fight. So here there is nothing better than nothing is better than fighting for you. That's what Krishna is saying. So that way, Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Dhyatma Uchyati. About this Akshara also, I think we can keep talking. We may not have enough time, but I will also mention one more thing Krishna is saying about Akshara in the 15th chapter. Krishna says there is Dvaubhuta Sargau Loke Dvavimau Purushau Loke Charaschakshara Yevacha Sharaga Sarvani Bhutani Kutastva Aksharam Uchyati. So Akshara means everything related to spirit, infallible. So all the living entities who are in spiritual world, they are known as Akshara because they are infallible. So that also Krishna is saying that. But Krishna is saying that Yasmaksharam atitogam Akshara tapicha uttamaga tatosmi loke vedecha pratitaga purushottama. So I am both above Akshara and Kshara. That's why I am celebrated in all the worlds as Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that way we need to understand that Krishna is the ultimate Supreme Personality of God. So here, Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatmam Uchyate. Now we know what is Brahman. Very well we know. We have referred to many slokas about Brahman in Bhagavad Gita. Even more slokas are there, but we don't have enough time now. So Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatmam Uchyate. So our Swabhava, the nature of the living entity, so that is known as Adhyatma. Bhuta bhavodbhava karo visargaha karma samjitaga. Karma, we know that it is action. When we perform an activity, there is karma. So when our body is produced, bhuta bhavo udbhava. Bhavo udbhava means the production of our body. Like we are having like many plants, manufacturing plants, where even car automotive plants are. So there are production plant. There they will go like production is happening, correct? So like that, here our body is produced. So that process is known as karma. So from there, the karma is starting from there. So only by action, the action is starting. The real karma is starting even at the time of the production of our body itself, the actions. So when energy is coming into picture, so that's why without energy, there is no action. Without energy, there is no movement. So that's why the action is coming into picture. That's why Krishna is saying that Bhuta Bhavod Bhavakara Visargaha Karma Samjitaga. That's why this karma is very important. Action is very important. Even in the 3rd chapter also Krishna is saying that Annat Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaga Yajnat Bhavati Parjanyo Yajnaga Karma Samudbhavaga. Krishna is saying that over Karma Brahmodbhavam Viddhi Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajne Pratishthitam. So there also Brahma, Krishna is bringing. Karma, Krishna is bringing. So this Karma, Brahman, everything is coming together. So the living entities, Annat Bhavanti Bhutani, the living entities subsist on grains. Annat Bhavanti Bhutani, and the grains are produced from rain. Parjanya Danna Sambhavaga, and the rains are produced from yajnas, the sacrifice, yajnas. So the performances of sacrifices, yajnas. So that is sacrificing means it's offering everything to Krishna. That's what is yajna. So Parjanya Danna Sambhavaga, then yajnat bhavati parjanyo, yajnaga karma samudbhavaga. Those yajnas are produced because of the karma, because we are acting. We are acting. There is a thing. Then karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. That karma is coming from Brahma. So Prabhupada translates that this Brahma as the Vedas in that sloka. But then again, in the same sloka, another Brahma comes. He's translating as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahman. But here karma brahmodbhavamitti, Brahma akshara samudbhavam, tasmat sarvagatam Brahma, nityam yajne pratisthidam. So this karma, akshara, Brahma, these are all very, very important technical words. If we understand this completely, then we will understand this Bhagavad Gita. It's very easy. So we only thing is we need to connect many slokas. So that way, what is karma? Bhuta bhavod bhavakaro visargaga karma samjita. So now next sloka very quickly I will be able to explain. So in the sloka number 4, Krishna is continuing that. That is, Krishna is saying that Bhuta bhavod bhavakara visargaga karma samjitagam. Then Krishna is saying adibhutam ksharo bhavagam purusaschari devagam. So adibhutam. Adibhutam means all this material nature, this earth, water, fire, air, space, all those things. So because of with that only our body is produced. So our body is made up of all this matter. So all this matter, material nature is known as adibhutam. Adidevam is the demigods. They are in control of this material nature. So there are demigods, they are in control of this material nature. So they are known as adidevam. So that's what adibhutam, adidevam. And Krishna is adiyagnyam. He's the enjoyer. He's the enjoyer of all the yajnas, all the offerings. Everything is done only for Krishna. Krishna, even we studied in the 5th chapter, last sloka, 29th sloka, we studied. Krishna is said that Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheswaram sugridam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam santim richadi. One who just knows nyatva. Nyatva means just by knowing. Nyatva mam, me. One who just by knowing that I am all these things will attain everlasting peace. Santim richadi. Knowing what? Yeah. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. I am the enjoyer of all offerings. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Sarvaloka maheswaram. I am the supreme controller of all living entities, all worlds. Sarvaloka maheswaram. And I am the well-wisher of every living entity. So Sugridam Sarva Bhutanam. Just by knowing this, one attains peace. So that's what Krishna is saying there. So that way, here, Adiyajna, Adiyajno Aham, Evatra, Dege Dega Pritham Varam. So Krishna is there and in everyone's body as the super soul. So Krishna is Adiyajna. So now we know that what is Brahma, Kim Tat Brahma, Adhyatma, Adibhuta, Swabhava, everything. Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Adhyatma, Kim Karma Purushotama, Adibhutam Cha Kim Protam, Adidevam Kim Uchati, Adiyajno, everything we know. Krishna's mercy we study. But these things we need to repeatedly study again and again, and we will get the full knowledge. But as I said in the very, very beginning, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is just knowing that we are not the body, we are the soul. So that means we are Brahman. So we are not the body. We are not matter. So knowing that we are Brahman. So Aham Brahmasmi. So knowing that we are the soul, but then what are we doing in this material world? Then why are we struggling in this material world? So there is the next question. We are the soul, we are the spirit, we are not the matter. Then why we are stuck inside this matter? So now, by asking that question, by getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and by following the principles of Bhagavad Gita, if we liberate ourselves from this material world, so then we will go to Brahman, the supreme Brahman. So that is Krishna as well. So that's why Brahmanohi Pradishtagam Amritasya Avyayasya cha Sasvatasya cha Dharmasya Sukasya Kanti Tasya cha. And we can go to that world only by freeing ourselves from the 3 modes of material nature. And how can we free ourselves from the 3 modes of material nature? Only by Mamchayo Vyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samati Taitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Brahma. There also Brahma is coming. Mamchayo Vyabhicharena. So without any deviation, anyone who renders devotional service unto me, Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Sagunan Samati Taitan, is freed from all modes of material nature. Then Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, then he will come to the Brahman, Supreme Brahman. So we'll go to Krishna's way. So today, very important questions Arjuna asked, and in these 2 slokas, Krishna answered everything. But all the remaining 8th chapter, there is one last question. That's what Krishna is going to answer. So what question Arjuna asked? Arjuna asked that, Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Adhyatma, Kim Karma Purushotama, Adibhutam Cha Kim Protam, Adidevam Kim Uchade, Adiyajnokam Kavaka, then Degesmin Madhusudana, Prayana Kale Cha Katam Yeyosi. That is the last question. Prayana Kale Cha Katam. Katam means how. Prayana Kala means at the time of death. So how to know about you at the time of death. Because Krishna said in the 7th chapter, last sloka, 30th sloka, Sadi Bhutadi Devam Mam Sadi Yajnam Cha Ye Vidugu Prayana Kale Picha Mam Te Vidugu Yukta Chetasya. At the time of death, they know me, so they will come to me. That's what Krishna said there. So that's why Prayana Kale Cha Katam Neyosi. How to know you at the time of death? That's what Arjuna is asking. So for that question, Krishna is going to answer in the remaining entire 8th chapter, completely. Not only 8th chapter, even the 9th chapter, completely. Because Arjuna 9th chapter is titled as the most confidential knowledge. So now we are going to study the entire remaining 8th chapter and complete 9th chapter, which has got 34 slokas. Everything is then in the 10th chapter also. First 10, 11 slokas, Krishna only is talking. So only in the 10th chapter, 12th sloka, only Arjuna starts talking. So that way, now so many slokas, we are going to understand a lot of knowledge from here. So by Krishna's mercy, we finished 2 slokas today. 8th chapter, sloka number 3 and 4. I think I took a little bit more time today, but since we covered 2 slokas and we covered very important subject, it was needed. I will stop now. We'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna. And it's very nice to see